the homeless girl whispered to the man sitting alone. It was the kind of night that didn't just chill your skin, it sank into your bones, curling up beside your heart like sorrow refusing to leave. Cold rain fell in ghostly sheets over the city, turning the sidewalks into slick mirrors and casting halos around every dim streetlight. In the corner of a nearly empty park bench, a man sat, so still, so broken, he looked like a statue forgotten by the world. His suit, once expensive, now hung loosely on his frame, soaked and threadbare, as if mocking the life he used to live. His shoes were muddy, cracked at the soles. His eyes were hollow, the kind of hollow only a man who's lost everything can understand. And then, a small voice broke through the rain like a whisper of mercy. "You look cold, mister, you can use my blanket. If you believe in kindness, in the power of second chances, if your heart still hopes for humanity in its purest form, then please take a moment to like this video, leave your thoughts in a comment, share this with someone who needs it, and subscribe to Rapple of Hope. This story might just restore your faith in what we're capable of." She couldn't have been more than 10. Thin as a twig, hair tangled and eyes wide with a softness that life hadn't managed to steal yet. She stood barefoot on the wet pavement, a threadbare pink blanket draped over her small shoulders. The man looked up, blinking rain from his lashes, startled not by her presence but by her compassion. No one had spoken to him in days, maybe weeks. The girl didn't flinch. She gently pulled the blanket from her shoulders and placed it over his knees with the care of someone twice her age. Her fingers were blue from the cold, her coat nothing more than an old hoodie 3 sizes too big. Yet here she was, giving. He wanted to speak, but his voice cracked. How do you thank someone for a gesture so pure when you no longer believe you deserve kindness? He looked at her as if seeing a ghost, or perhaps, an angel. The man's name was Daniel Rivers. 6 months ago, he was a senior architect in a prestigious firm. A man with a corner office, tailored suits, a wife who made him laugh every morning, and a 5-year-old boy who thought he could build castles in the sky. Life was good, until it wasn't. A drunk driver on a rainy evening stole both his wife and son in a blink. One moment, he was heading home for dinner, the next, he was identifying their bodies. The pain swallowed him whole. He stopped showing up at work. Friends tried, but grief had barricaded him inside himself. He lost his job. Then his home. Slowly, the world he built turned its back. Now, he wandered aimlessly, carrying nothing but memories that cut deeper than hunger ever could. The little girl who gave him the blanket? Her name was Aria. She'd been homeless for almost a year, ever since her mother disappeared one night and never came back. Aria waited outside shelters, slept near subway vents, and begged not for coins but for someone to notice she was still here. But no one did, until she met Daniel. She saw something in him that mirrored her loneliness, and that night, when she saw him shivering alone, something inside her whispered, "Don't let him go unnoticed." Daniel didn't leave the park bench. Not that night. Not the next. Because the next night, Aria came back, with a cup of warm broth she'd managed to get from a church kitchen. They didn't talk much. Words felt too heavy. But they sat together, 2 broken souls holding on to the warmth of presence. Slowly, Daniel began to notice things again. The way the streetlight flickered above them. The way Aria always gave the homeless man down the road a piece of her bread before taking a bite herself. The way she hummed quietly to calm herself to sleep. It stirred something in him, reminded him of his son, reminded him of his humanity. One afternoon, Aria didn't show up. Daniel waited. Hours passed. Rain came. He wrapped her old pink blanket around his shoulders and sat in silence, panic rising. Days passed. Still, no sign of her. And something inside Daniel broke again, but this time, it broke open. He stood up. For the first time in months, he walked with purpose. He asked around. Searched shelters. Looked in alleys, under bridges. He even stood outside the hospital emergency room hoping someone might know something. And then, on the fourth day, he found her. She was lying behind a dumpster near a bakery, burning with fever, barely conscious, shivering uncontrollably. Daniel didn't hesitate. He picked her up, weak as he was, and carried her to the hospital. The staff hesitated, seeing his appearance, but the desperation in his eyes was undeniable. She was admitted with pneumonia and malnourishment. He sat by her bedside every single night. Didn't sleep. Didn't eat until he knew she would be okay. And somewhere in those long hours, something changed. The nurses began to offer him food. A social worker took interest. A local church arranged a small shelter room for him. He accepted, because now he had a reason to get better. As Aria recovered, so did Daniel. Slowly, he began helping at the shelter, cleaning, organizing, even using his architecture background to help design a better layout for the overcrowded space. Word spread. A local nonprofit learned about his past and offered him a trial position. Aria, now stronger, became a beacon at the shelter, always the first to help the new kids, always ready with a smile or a story. Together, they were no longer invisible. Months passed. Daniel had his own small apartment again, nothing fancy, but filled with warmth. Aria stayed with him, under temporary guardianship, as the system tried to trace her family. They never found her mother. But maybe that didn't matter anymore. Because Aria now had a home. And Daniel had something to live for. Every night, he'd make her warm soup, and before she'd sleep, she'd wrap herself in a new pink blanket. But she still kept the old one folded at the foot of her bed. It's a reminder, she once said softly, that even when you have nothing, you can still give everything. Viewers, if this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Rapple of Hope. These are not just stories, they are reminders of the goodness we're still capable of, even in the darkest moments. Comment below with your thoughts. Have you ever been helped by a stranger? Or have you ever extended a hand to someone who needed it? Your story matters. Please leave a comment if this story made you feel something. Your words might inspire someone else to believe in kindness again.